it's been 4 months, maybe a little longer than that. So this is going to be a relatively awkward video. Probably not as awkward as my first one, because I have a better idea of what I'm going to post and the fact that nobody watches it. But it's still probably going to be awkward since it's been a while since I've been on camera. But with that out of the way, hi, I'm Zachariah. This is my Flosstube. I decided that it's probably a good idea to do a WIP parade. Everybody's doing their mid-year WIP parades, although I think I'm like half a month late to that. But, I mean, I haven't been posting, so can we really blame me? But yeah, WIP parade, bit of an update on a couple of projects that I've actually worked on. I've obtained some new, more vintage patterns that I would really like to show people because I love them. And kind of just a life update, I guess, because, I mean, it's been 4 months. Anybody who's checking in again hasn't seen me in at least 4 months, so there's that. So that'll be fun. That being said, we're going to get into my patterns. I have the photo rendition for some of them, but not for all of them. So I'll be showing for the ones I have. And they're not going to be in order, like, at all. They're just going to, I just kind of stacked them on my desk. So we're going to be doing this in the most haphazard way possible. That's kind of to be expected. From me, anyway. But, first of all, one of my favorites, although unfortunately it is AI generated, so I will not be sharing where this pattern is from. But it is this one. It's like 10% done, I think. There's more stitches done on the top, then you can see they kind of blend in. But I adore what the end result of this pattern looks like. My favorite vibe is cluttered room that you can tell has been lived in. And a really good way to do that is with a kitchen, which is what this is. And I love it. There's some areas that you can tell it is AI generated, but I am just trying to ignore those. Because I don't think that there's really a human art counterpiece to that. There's, how much is this? Nah, my bad, 5%, not 10%. Overestimation. But, I mean, if I could find a human pattern that is similar vibes to that, with all the warm tones and the, like, I don't know, 80s, 90s style kitchen that's very cluttered, send them my way. I will eat that up. I will love it. It'll be my favorite pattern for the next, like, year. But for now, I've had to resort to this one, which, I don't know, I like it. I just will not be sharing where it's from. The next one is a new one since the pattern, my goodness, since my last video. You kind of can't really tell, oh god, there it is. You kind of can't really tell what it is yet, but those are flowers. And give me 2 seconds, I will grab you the pattern itself. It is Koi Pond. So I'm up in this, oh god, not that top corner. I'm doing those flowers because I like starting in that corner. Let's see, can I remember? Where did I get this from again? I'll have to try to find that one and put it in the description if I remember. If I don't, because as I'll get to after I'm done showing the whips, it's been a lot. Just shoot a comment, I'll give you the link. Actually, that might be easier. If you want to know what the pattern is, give me a comment, I'll send you the link. Because I don't really get comments, so for the size of my account right now, this is a relatively easy way to go about this. But there was that one. And then this one is a gift from my dad. So, Father, you don't know this account exists, but if you do, do not watch this. But this is his Christmas present. It's gonna say Death Before Decaf and have a skull coffee mug. and have some ghosts. It goes really fast, so I'm probably not going to touch that for another month or two. But I'm also really enjoying stitching it, so I might. Who knows? It's been a hot minute since I've done 18, which I'm pretty sure is what that is. And I love 18 count. But I've been doing a lot of 28 because, I mean, I love 28. This is the mock-up. I have changed all of the colors because these are way too warm for that blue fabric. So I changed all the colors. The only one that stayed the same was black. But it's just, I think he'll like it, like, quite a lot. And it's so silly, and I love it. And it's just all solid blocks of colors with a little bit of, fiddly stitches here and there, so it's been really nice. Because, as you'll see, my main project, which is next, is all confetti stitches. That being said, this is the All Generations, which is Gen 1 through 5, Pokemon Cross Stitch by Lord Libidon. I have finished page 1. This is page 1, tiny bit of the page below it, and about a third of page 2, maybe a little less. I have been working on this for ages. But I also, for page 1, just kept putting off all the individual little confetti stitches because there was like 4 colors that was 1 stitch. Or it was 1 stitch up here and then 1 stitch down here. Like, it wasn't very fun. But, like, I do love how it's turning out. And it's so cute. I've made a couple little fumbles here and there, but this is going to be such a big project that little fumbles, not big fumbles, I will fix big fumbles, but little fumbles will be no problem. Because this is going to need almost an entire yard of fabric, which is what this is. It's a yard. And that's page 1. On the first part, because this had to be broken into 4 pieces of a pattern, so like 4 patterns, the first part is 62 pages of this size. I have finished page 1. That is just over 4,000 stitches. The entire pattern is 798,000. This is going to take me 20 years. That being said, it is also going to be my most consistently worked on piece. So if you're interested in seeing how that progresses, you can follow either this or my Instagram, which my Instagram is Sakurai Stitches, same as this. I don't post updates very often because with how large it is, you kind of can't tell when I make little bits of progress. You can only tell when I, like, finish a page or start onto a next page and it, like, starts working in a direction. When I'm filling in the little details, you kind of can't tell. So even if it's a lot of stitches, I don't really post it because I would be flooding my feed with something that you could barely tell it changed if I did. But I've been really proud of myself for getting that 1 page done because I was kind of worried about tackling this big of a project. Especially considering the fact that the largest project I finished before this was, I want to say, like 20 to 30K. So, like, this is a difference. But there's that one. And then my next project that I've actually just taken a break from the Pokemon one to work on is this one, which is quite a bit of progress from when you guys would have last seen it. The leaves actually look green now, but basically by the end of this year, I just want to have this almost completed, like this section that I have stitched. I want to have it almost fully filled in, because I feel like that'll be a decent stopping point so I can focus more on some of my other pieces. And I'll have given that one like a year and a half to like a year to a year and a half. But it is Warm Witch. I believe this is Charting Creations. Yeah, that was Warm Witch, Charting Creations. The artist is Ivy Dollamore. I don't actually know how many stitches is in this one. Does it tell me? It's 330 stitches wide by 426 stitches high. So it's not going to take, because that's also on a yard of fabric, but it's not going to use that entire yard of fabric. So I have a couple other patterns that I might do on the remainder, depending if I have the space. Because it's going to have some space on one side and some space on the bottom. So there's 2 different patterns that I think might fit in those. So I'm going to work this across the top. I don't know how to put it down. I'm going to work it like across the top here, and then I'm going to go down, and then I'm going to cut my fabric. And then continue to work on it as a smaller piece of fabric, and then I can start new projects on the remainder of the fabric that I have. This is my light. I used to work on it. I just moved this between projects. It's got a scrunchie on it because it's not actually a clip. But yeah, that's my plan for that. And then these are all the patterns that I have not touched, like at all. One of which, unfortunately, is my Mirabilia. I'm almost on her hair, like the stitching in her hair, not the beads in her hair. I might pick her up soon, just work on her a little bit, because summer stitching, she's a mermaid. It's the Mermaid of Pearls? I don't know, it's discontinued, I know that, and I fell in love with it, so I want to finish her. But it's my first ever Mirabilia, so I'm hoping that I can do her some justice. I've copied off the pattern and reprinted it. So like I photocopied it and I printed a working copy. So that way if I ever want to redo her in the future, or if I want to give somebody else the pattern or sell the pattern again, I can do that. I think I might just hold on to the pattern though. Because, I don't know, my stitches aren't the most neat on the planet. And I feel like my beading is going to be pretty messy. So I'm going to hold on to this pattern and maybe redo it later in my life. Because I'm only 21. I foresee this being a lifelong hobby as long as the world isn't up in flames. So, like, being able to do it again later in life and see the difference might be fun. But we'll have to see. Anyway, this was my first ever kit. I have not touched it since the new year. It's Summer Bouquet by Dimensions. But I've gotten the wall done, and then I haven't touched it. And I don't know why, because it is fun to work on. And it goes pretty fast. But I just haven't. And I think it's because I have other full coverage projects that I would rather work on. I don't think I'm really a kit person. But I have 2. So I really should get doing that. But yeah, that was Summer Bouquet. You can tell which ones I never work on based off of whether or not they're in a hoop. I say, as all of mine are basically in hoops. Ignore the mess of fabric that this one is. This one is a start that I have not continued on. This is a Hobbit stitch along. I think. I don't know. I'm doing it because the pattern's cute, and you decide what each part looks like, and like you build it yourself. And that's the whole reason. I don't actually love The Hobbit. I don't actually know much about it. But the cross-stitch Discord server I'm in called Pixel Stitch, there's a couple people in there doing it. And I had FOMO. I do want to read The Hobbit and The Lord of the Rings and all that. I own them. I just haven't gotten around to it yet. So this is me preemptively being like, I'll probably like it. Which, I love these colors. I just don't remember what color, because I think there's 2 reds in here. I don't remember which one I was working with. So that's part of why I've not picked this one up again in a while. Plus it's also a paper pattern with a lot of ways to easily screw it up. So I'm kind of scared of screwing it up. There's that. So I haven't worked on that basically at all since I started it. Oh, that's where Syndical went. This one goes this way, I believe. This is, Dance of Lake Taps, I think. It's by, how do you say her name? Navita. Gaffer? I'm not sure. She does a whole bunch of dragon stuff. I'll show you the mock-up, and you'll probably know who it is. Because she's pretty well known. And I have been meaning to pick that one up again for a long time. Mostly because those blues and oranges are gorgeous, and it looks even better with the backstitch. And I'm basically only doing, there's going to be some of this cut out, because I'm basically only doing what fits inside this hoop, because this is a 12-inch hoop. But the actual diameter of this on the fabric that I chose would be, I think, about a 1/4 inch extra from this hoop. So I'll be losing probably about 10 stitches. But that's okay, because that's mostly just blue, a little bit of fish. So I'm okay with losing that, because I mostly just want the dragon. But yeah, this was my first attempt at gridding. I should work on this again soon. I might work on this today. Who knows? Because I also have knitting and crochet stuff to do, which I might pull out at the end of this video, but that would require me getting up, so maybe. But yeah, this is my Dance of Like Depths, I think. It's really pretty. I love the way that the dragon moves. It's really good. And then this is a one that has been talked about a number of times in my channel. If you've tuned in to my past 2 WIP braids, you would know. We all know who this is. This is Lola Cross Stitch Deadly Aquarium. I cannot make myself work on this. And I don't know why. I love the pattern. I love the end result. I bought the aviary, and I'll be starting the aviary soon. But I cannot make myself work on this pattern. And I don't understand why, because it looks so good. The fabric is very water. But I can't get myself to do it. I might force myself to put it on a hoop and pick it up. Maybe after this video. I don't know. I don't know what my plan is tonight. But I can't do it. But, I mean, look at the little seagulls. They're so cute. I love them. I don't know. I love the pattern. It's good. I'm just not enjoying stitching it, I guess. Which is a shame. But I don't know. I really like the finished parts. I hated stitching those coral, but I like the finished parts. I know they're not fully finished and I need to do the back stitch. I'm calling them done. I really like those. But I can't convince myself to continue. I might call it a pause on the Barracuda for now and move somewhere else and see if that helps me. I might just not like the Barracuda. But I don't know. I don't find myself going along with it, you know? There's that one, which is a dilemma in and of itself. And then there's the Plants and Petrichor, which is really dark and moody, and I love it. And my piece of fabric, it's gorgeous, but I don't know. I find myself not really wanting to stitch on this one, which I think the reason why I don't want to stitch on this one is because as good of a quality as this fabric is, it's annoying to stitch on because the tip of my needle keeps getting stuck. And I don't know why. And so, I don't know, maybe I'll pick this one up too. I at least want to finish this picture by the end of the year, which I feel like is completely manageable. I could do that in one evening. So I at least want to get that far. Because it's such a pretty pattern, and I bought the next, okay, this is a trend. I buy the sale, I start the sale, I don't finish the sale, the next style comes along, I buy that, I don't even start it. Because they've got a Twigs and Tea Time, I think, that is just now coming out, and I just bought it an hour before starting recording this video. And I bought fabric for it. And I'm probably not going to start it until this is done. So, woo, I guess. I don't know. But like, I don't know. I love the end result of this pattern. I love it. And it's killing me that I'm not working on it to get it to that point. But I just can't bring myself to do it. And, like, I don't even have the end, like, the last part of the pattern uploaded to my pattern keeper. I just have the part 2 with, I think, this and the inside of here. I'm an awful Flosstuber. But, I don't know. It's just the pattern. The pattern's pretty, the fabric's pretty, I love it. It's so soft. And it's such a pretty color. And I'm hoping I have enough left over after I, like, cut this all out that I can, like, make a mini on it or something, because it's so pretty. Maybe a bookmark. That would be pretty. Anyway, I'm forcing myself to move along, or I'm going to talk about how disappointed I am that I'm not continuing things. This has been brought up a couple of times. This is a pattern I was stitching along with my friend. Book of Deadly Poison. I don't remember the designer's name. Oh no. But basically I finished the black on the outside of the frame, so now I just have to finish the outline of the book in the middle, and then I could move on to colors. The problem is, the friend I was doing this with, I don't really talk to anymore, and they weren't really stitching anymore due to some like physical limitations when I was still talking to them. So I think I might begin stitching on this again, because I do miss stitching on it. It is fiddly, because I'm doing it over 2. But it is a really pretty pattern, and like my partner bought it for me, and I don't want to make his money go to waste. And I feel like this fabric is really good for it, but also it's got my Bulbasaur. I want to use my Bulbasaur for other things, and I don't want to take him off this pattern, because then that means that I'm not stitching on it ever. So, I have to work on this pattern, if only for the Bulbasaur. But the problem is, I really liked doing this with a friend. And I don't know anybody that's stitching this, or has the time to add this into their repertoire and catch up with me. So, I don't know what to do with that. I don't know what to do with that at all. If you're already stitching one of these, maybe you can leave a comment and I can be like, oh, I can stitch more on this and see what my viewers are doing. But, yeah, I don't know. I love the pattern, and like the frame is so good, and I want to keep going because the greens are gorgeous, but I don't know. I feel guilty continuing. That seems to be the trend. So there's that one, and this one is my apple pie, which is part of this collection. Which, my next pattern is going to be the lemon one, because I have, as I'm sure you can tell, developed an obsession with lemons. It's not a phase. It's been ongoing. I own like 3 lemon dresses now, and I keep looking into lemon patterns, so this one is probably going to be my next one, because I love it. But, that one on the side there is the apple pie pattern that this is, and I love it. I love the old style patterns on oatmeal. It just is so homey, and I love it. And I can't say that it's nostalgic, because my house didn't have that kind of thing growing up. My grandma had some Petty Point, but it was not this style of thing on oatmeal, so I don't know why this is so nostalgic to me, but it is. And I adore it. And I don't know. I should also I should at the very least finish that apple by the end of this year. And then I can work on the pie next year. But we'll see what next year holds, because school. I don't know. School has been a whole thing. We'll get into that. Anyway, the next one is this, which is a stamped kit, which I've never done before, on a Q-snap, which I've never used before. But, to add insult to injury, I bought this off of a lady on Facebook, and I think it's a knockoff. I have faith that the end result will be pretty, but the thread isn't very good. The stamp itself is not well aligned with the holes. There's a number of places where it's like slightly shifted. And I've never done a stamped kit before, so that hasn't been fun. So basically, as soon as I finished that area of black, I stopped working on it. Which I shouldn't have done because Vaporeon's on here. And again, I don't want to take my needle binder off because that means that I'm not planning on finishing it. So, I mean, this isn't a Q-snap. I should be able to work on this, no problem. I might pull out whatever that blue is and do some of that today. Just so I feel less guilty about putting Vaporeon in the corner. But it also doesn't help that this is a size fabric that I don't typically stitch on. I do not stitch larger than 18. I do not enjoy stitching larger than 18. It has never been something that I've enjoyed, and I think this might be 14 count. Or maybe 16. Probably 14 though. And I just don't love it. Don't love how huge it is. I just don't. Oh no, it's even worse than that. It's 11. Which, for me, is way too large. Other people have made projects on, like, 10 count, 11 count, and they've looked amazing. I just don't like how my stitches look that large. I don't like how much of the back, like, the fabric, you can see through the stitches. I don't enjoy that large of a count. My favorites are 18 and 28. Mostly because 28, I just need a bit of a light, and then I can stitch away no problem, and 18 is what I learned on, so it's a comfort thing for me. I don't enjoy stitching on this. I don't want to DNF it, because I really like the end image. Why did I say DNF? UFO. I don't want to UFO it. This is not a book. Because I love the end result. I just don't like stitching on it. So I'm going to force myself to stitch on it. That's what I've decided. I'm going to force myself to stitch on this one today. I need a break for my wrist anyway. Side note, my back is so neat. Huh. Interesting. That blue is 902, it looks like. Which I think is a brown. Maybe a red? No, it's a red. But anyway, that is all my cross-stitch WIPs. As of right now, that I remember. I've finished a few things that I don't think I've shared here, but anything I've finished should be on Instagram, other than I think a magnet or two, but those aren't important. I did a little Mill Hill kit. It was like succulents, one of their older kits. It's really cute. It's on my fridge. I might take a picture of it and post it on Instagram, but the edge finishing I did was not very good because the paper kept tearing. The felt that I was using for a backing wasn't quite long enough on that side. So it's kind of ugly. But she seemed to like it, and that's about all that matters, because I made it as a Christmas gift for my aunt. I finished the stitching, showed it to her on Christmas, took it back, and then just didn't actually fully finish it until earlier this week, last week, somewhere around there. So that's an unfortunate side of things. When I gift people things, it takes forever. But anyway, we're gonna do the patterns that I've obtained. And I've already shown you this one. And I know I've already shown you that because the apple pie has been a thing I've had in the works for a while. But I've recently obtained some more stuff from Stephanie at Cross Stitch the Globe, and a random lady on Facebook who, oh my god, girl, I love your fucking... It's fine, I can swear. I do swear. I love the fucking Paula Vaughn pieces. They're so good. I don't have the time to start any right now, even though I know there's a stitch along for that. And also I don't know which one I would want to do first. But they're just, like, they're so good. They're so good. And I absolutely adore them. And this plays into what I really like, which is, like, images of being lived in and, like, cozy, kind of a little bit older style homes. Modern homes are awful. Oh, this is not a vintage pattern. This is, I should start this too. This is something I charted myself to work on for my boyfriend. It's pixel art from somebody on Twitter who, when I eventually work on this, I will track them down again so I can credit them. But they give me permission to chart their art and make a little pattern for my boyfriend of his favorite monster. It's Regios from Monster Hunter. Now, here's the thing. The edges are all cute. I am not religious. And I don't want to have Bible verses in my home. Woo, religious trauma. So I don't think I'm going to hold on to that. But I do really like the edgings. So if I figure out what the font is, I might put other things inside. Some of these are really cute, but I mostly just want to do, oh goodness, this one and this one. Those two are my favorites. The ones on the back are mostly religious, so not gonna stitch those. And then there's some designs specifically with framing in mind. How do I show this without showing the pattern or breaking the book? Look at the owl. It's so cute. So, I don't know. There's some pretty cute ones. I think that's whales. Dolphins. That looks like whales more than dolphins, but that's fine. But, yeah. So I got all those from Facebook. And then I think this is one of the ones that I got from Stephanie over at Cross Stitch the Globe. The only downside is the U has a United States flag. I am not American. I don't know how to read chart well enough to get rid of that and still have it fit in with the rest of the alphabet vibes. But this is so cute. And I might, when my boyfriend and I eventually move in with each other, we're hoping next year, I might stitch something with this alphabet for our entryway. But we will have to see, because it's just so cute. And then this is just the greatest thing ever. Oh my god. It's black-capped chickadees and cardinals. They're so cute. I love them so much. This one I for sure got from Stephanie over Cross Stitch Club. It's amazing. I love it. I really need to stitch it. I have the perfect fabric for this. I just haven't gotten around to it. Which I will put these back where they were and go grab my crochet and knitting stuff, and I will show you that. And then from there, I'll talk about kind of how my life's been going, and then we'll call it. And that should hopefully get us to about 45 minutes, not longer. But 2 seconds. Don't go anywhere. I don't know how to edit well enough to take that out. So, my apologies for leaving you with the chair. tin I got from a thrift store that I haven't cleaned yet, so it's got random papers in the bottom. But this, I just finished it today. It is a pie crust backing for a pie purse. I saw someone make one, and I decided I want one of those. And then I went and found a pattern, and then that pattern is... It's so cute, but it's tiny. I added like an extra 3 rows to this because it was too small. So now it's 10 inches exactly. I think it's circumference, it's all the way around. From one side to one side, it's 10 inches. Because that's the size that my bags usually are. They're usually around 10 inches. And I want it to comfortably fit my phone and my wallet. And potentially something else. I don't know. I don't really carry around much. But it is double knit, which I've never done before. So I have 2 of basically the same shade of beige, but they are technically different colors. Because I had one at home and I bought one because I thought I only needed 1 ball of yarn, but then it's like, you need to do 2-stranded, and I was like, god damn it. So I came home and I had one, so that worked out. But then for the filling, instead of red, I'm gonna do green as a kind of key lime or apple pie, but like also not really. I just prefer green. But I cannot decide which of these 2 colors to go with because I wanted to have decent contrast, which somebody pointed out that I should do this dark one and the lightest one together because that'll have the most contrast. But I also really like this middle green. So, I don't know. They're super soft. They're acrylics. They're 4-weight, so I will find something to do with it. I don't know. If only doing it as 3-stranded wouldn't make it insanely way too large. But, because like all of these colors are just so good. I love them. And they're so soft, even though that doesn't matter because that's going to be like a part of the bag I don't really touch. But yeah, that's my knitting that I've been doing. Not my knitting, my crocheting. Actually, there's one more thing. I have to find the image of it. Hold on. Hold. I finished this while my boyfriend was here. Which would mean it should be... Oh, no, he took an image of it. Stand by. I gotta go to Discord, which we send a lot of images back and forth, so this will be a minute. These dogs. There we go. This is a sloth plant holder that I made for his mom. And I finished that while he was here. So that's more of my crochet updates. Other than that, we've got knitting news, also known as I figured out how to make dish rags. So I made this one, and this one, and this one, and this one. And then the next color that I'm going to be working with is this purple, and it's yellowy. So I just got to start that at some point this weekend, and then I take it to school and I work on it between assignments and classes and stuff. But it's Art Fight, which, if you are not aware, is a website where you upload your characters, and over the month of July, people will draw your characters, or you will draw theirs, and you will get points because there is a team system. and it's basically just a massive art trade, and it's an excuse to grow your community and gift art to people and just give back, you know? And this year, I have had a lot more people draw art for me than in previous years. I've drawn more art for people than I did last year, and so that's been kind of taking up my me time, between class. I draw between class, basically. That's all I've been doing. So I might not make more progress until after July. That's also why my stitching is kind of slowed down, because I've been working on art when I'm at home, too. I don't think that's going to fit in there, but that's fine. So there's been that. But yeah, basically, I haven't been uploading because I've been in school. School started in May for me. I think I mentioned that in my last update. And it's not been really hard, but there has been a lot of assignments because I'm doing full stack web development, which like 60 to 90% of your grade comes from your assignments. And so I end up with like 2-3 assignments a week, if not more. So I haven't really had time to just sit down and give y'all an update. Even me doing this has required me telling my partner, like, hey, I need some me time to upload a video. So that being said, I get a bit of a break in August, but August is a really busy month for me as well, so I might not get enough stitching to feel like it's worth doing an update. But I will try to do an update every couple months at the very least. I just won't be an every couple weeks kind of girl, because I don't stitch enough for that. I stitch on like one project, so if I was doing like a YouTube short or a TikTok, that'd be fine. But for something like this, that feels like just a waste of my time and your time. Unless I did something kind of like Crafty Gaming Jamie, where she like has daily check-ins for every time she stitches, and she updates you each day how much she's done. But for me, I don't think that's fully possible. So I think every couple months, expect to hear from me. But yeah, I think I'm going to call that here today. Around 40 minutes sounds good to me. This has been all of my WIPs, all of my new patterns, bit of a life update, and some other fiberworks. If you stayed this long, feel free to subscribe, feel free to like, feel free to never hang around again if you want. I would love to have you in my next video, and I hope you have a great day. Bye-bye.